Sure.
Mix. So let us comes to here. In today's class we will discuss what is elements. All of you keep hitting elements. So now before going to this elements, we must know few words, meaning of the few words which we have already studied in the class 8 and even class 7th also. That words is, how many of you know the meaning of malleability, ductility and brittleness? I need to know the meaning of malleability, ductility and this kind of things. Can you able to say what is that, anybody?
Sir, which are beaten into thin sheets.
Ductility, you must know, if you know the meaning of these terms, then you can understand what is the elements, we can able to understand easily. So what is the meaning of malleability? Please let me know.
Sir, which can beaten into thin
Ductility and as well as brittleness.
Sir, malleability means we can make it into files, sir.
Files or sheets.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now I will teach you. Last time I'm saying you, remember you have studied in lower classes, but again I'm saying you. So if you know the meaning of these terms, then only we can entering into our matter called as element. So let us discuss what is this malleability first. So what is the meaning of malleability means? If any kind of substance, if you are beating, understanding. So the metals, the property of which allows the metal to be hammered or beaten into thin sheet without breaking is called as malleability. Do you understand, all of you? This is the property of what? Property of metals which has been beaten or hammered. Hammered. Understand? Hammered into thin sheets without breaking. That is what the most important one. Without breaking is called as what? Malleability. All of you do understand, Laksha, Alana? So if any kind of metals, understanding, if any kind of metals, if you are beating into thin sheets, nowadays you can see aluminum foil. Have you know that aluminum foil? Aluminium. So that is what? Metal. Very minute thickness, correct or not? So which we are using to wrap the food, means packing the food and all. So this aluminum foil as a metal which has been having a malleability property, means we are beaten or hammered into a thin sheets without breaking. What is that? Without breaking. That is what
breaking.
Remember, that property is called as malleable property. Hammered. Hammered. Now coming to the ductility. What is the meaning of ductility? Can you able to say?
So we can make it into wires.
So ductility means similar to the malleability, which has been, metals has been hammered. Metals has been, or substances has been beaten or hammered.
two wires.
Here thin sheets, correct? Here thin wires without breaking is called as ductility. Understand, Daron? Without breaking, understanding, stretched or drawn. You have to remember the property which allows the metals to be drawn or stretched into the thin wires without breaking is called as ductility. Please, all of you remember. Or else you can write even beaten or hammered also. Or you can write drawn. Understanding what you can write? Or drawn. Drawn means what? Like a stretching. Understanding? Drawn or stretching. Stretched into the thin wires without breaking. Without breaking is known as what? Is known as ductility.
Ductility.
No. This is what is malleability and what is ductility. Malleability means making into thin sheets, and ductility means making into
Thin wires.
Thin wires. That is what you have to remember. Mania, please call to Srutilaya. Samaya, are you there in meeting? Please respond me yes or no. So the making into thin wires is called as ductility, and making into thin sheets is called as malleability. Now, what is the meaning of brittleness? You may understand this. Suppose if you take chalk piece,
very easily breakable.
you can easily break it. So that is what we can say that. Brittleness. Can you able to say what is the meaning of brittleness, Pradosh, Mavanish?
Sir, easily breakable.
Sir, it can
Breakable.
easily
Please all of you. Pradosh,
glass.
I think he's not there in a meeting, right? Brittleness.
Okay, sir.
B-R-I-T-T L-E-N-E-S-S, brittleness. What is the meaning of brittleness means? Any kind of substance. It is a property due to which non-metals or even few metals also. I cannot say all metals. Understand? All non-metals only. So the property due to which non-metals break into pieces on hammering. Means if you hit with the hammer, they will converting into powder. Do you understand all of you? That kind of substances is called as brittleness. So this brittleness is the opposite property of ductility and malleability. Opposite word of malleability is ductility, brittleness, and ductility is also brittleness only. So malleability and ductility means what? Without breaking. Is it yes or no? Without breaking. Now, brittleness means if you hammered, then it will be breaking easily. That substance is called as brittleness. Please all of you write it. The property due to which, Sai, you are understanding?
Yes, sir.
Property due to which non-metals, most of the metals does not show this brittleness, only few metals will show. Understand? Non-metals break into pieces on hammering. Non-metals break into pieces on hammering. Is called, what we should call, Ra?
Brittleness.
Brittleness. So it is just opposite to what? Brittleness is opposite to malleable. Understanding? Brittleness is,
Sir, for a brittleness, we can give example as pure gold, sir.
anything like all the non-metals. If you take suppose carbon, understanding? Carbon, solid non-metals. Actually, most of the non-metals actually we in the form of gases only. So if you take the solid non-metals, everything they can easily break. Understand, Sai?
Yes, sir.
Examples, don't worry. So brittleness is opposite to malleability and ductility. Please write it. Malleability and ductility. Malleability and ductility. Any doubt, anybody, please ask here.
Yes, sir.
Understand?
Sir.
Call to that girl, Shruti Laya, new girl. So this is what we should call as. So if you understand this meaning of these three words, then we will enter into our today's concept. What is our today's concept? Elements. Do you understand, all of you? So if you want to understand the elements, so here you must understand the meaning of malleability, ductility, and brittleness. So malleability and ductility has been shown by metals. And brittleness has been shown by what? Brittleness has been shown by
Non-metals.
non-metals. That is what you have to remember. Will you able to remember or not? Please tell me. Now, if you'll understand
Yes,
this, now we are going to study our first concept of today's class is elements. What we used to call as elements. So please all of you keep getting elements already. So what is elements? Already we have studied some property about element. Can you able to say element is a pure substance or impure substance?
Pure substance.
Pure substance.
Everybody should respond. Element is a what? Element
Pure
is a
Pure
substance.
substance.
what we have already studied. All these known things I am saying. Element is a pure substance. From this only we are going to form a definition. So element is a pure substance. Is it possible to break it into small pieces by physical or chemical process? Is it possible?
No, sir.
So it is
No,
not
sir.
No, sir.
divide further into small pieces, which is not possible to split up into two or more simpler substances by using chemical process or by using physical process.
Physical process.
Say called as what? Element. Do you understand, all of you? Element is
Yes,
a
sir.
pure substance which cannot be split up into two or more simpler substances by the usual chemical methods or by any kind of physical methods, like in the sense of by applying heat, by applying light or electricity. We cannot split up into further substances. That is called as what? Elements. Understanding? By heating, by providing energy, we can melt it. We can change the state, solid to liquid, liquid to gas. But we cannot break it into further. Do you understand, all of you? That is what is called as elements. Understand, all of you? Write it, please, all of you.
Yes, sir.
An element is a substance not possible to split. Not possible to make simple substances. Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
That is what is called as elements. Please write it. Definition. Very, very important definition, Ra. So what is the definition I said? Right. An element is a substance. An element is a substance. An element is a substance which cannot be split up into two or more simpler substances. More simpler substances by the usual chemical methods, by the usual physical and chemical methods, by usual physical and chemical methods like heating, light. Understand, all of you? Heating methods like applying heat, light, or electricity. Applying heating, light, or electricity. Do you understand, all of you? Please tell me. This is what the element definition. Any doubt? Anybody? Respond, yeah. Manya, Sonia,
sir.
Alana. That is
Sir,
what.
scroll down, sir.
Yeah. This is what we should call as definition of elements. Is there any doubt? Anybody? You please ask. So, if you observe, for example, the best element, if you take hydrogen. So, if you take hydrogen is an element because it cannot be split up into two or more simpler substances by the usual methods of carrying out any chemical reactions by applying heat, light, or electricity. Like that, if you take oxygen also an element only. So if you take the examples, so if you take hydrogen examples, understand. So what is the symbol of hydrogen, Ra? Symbol of hydrogen is H.
H.
Understanding, H2 is that representation. It is a diatomic molecule. I will say you what is that. So hydrogen, it is not possible to split up into more simpler substances by any usual chemical methods like applying heat energy or light energy or electricity. That is why hydrogen is called as what? Hydrogen is called as what?
Element.
Like that, if you take oxygen, OXYZN, oxygen. So oxygen is also called as what? Which is not possible to split up into further simpler substances. That is why we can call it as what? Oxygen also is
Element.
do you understand, all of you? So from this we can say what is element? Simple definition. See, big definition I have given you. What is simple definition? So any kind of substance, an element, it cannot be broken down into simpler substances by chemical methods. That's all. Correct or not? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Simple definition. Those who want, you can write it. Those who want, like Monesh, if you are feeling difficulty with the big definition, you can write the simple definition. Write it. Right. An element is a substance which cannot be broken down into simpler substances. An element is a substance which cannot be broken down. Into simpler substances. Sorry, that is also you can remove. Broken down into simpler substances by chemical methods. Into simpler substances into simpler substances by which methods?
Chemical methods.
Methods. That's all. Chemical methods. Please all of you write it. Now, for example, if we'll take example, I have already taught you hydrogen and oxygen. Now, if I'll take example, suppose if I'll consider water is a substance, is it water is a element or compound? Is it a element or not? That is what I want.
Compound, sir.
The compound, sir.
Compound, sir.
You
Compound,
observe
sir.
it carefully. Don't say compound because we don't know not at compound. Just we know what is elements on. So if we take observe all of you, water by passing some kind of thing, not heat energy, not light energy, by passing which energy? By passing
Electric energy.
electricity, electrical energy, we can split it into hydrogen plus oxygen gas. So we are getting two simpler substances from this complex substance. That is why water is not a element. Do you understanding all of you? Water is not
Yes,
a
sir.
element. This is also how to write it. One more example. Water. Water formula is what? H2O. By passing electricity means
So, sir.
by chemical reaction, the water is splitting into two simpler substances. That is why water is not called as a element.
Element.
Please tell me.
Element.
Respond me. What is not a element? Now, this is what I said. Element. Element means a simple substance which is not possible to further dividing into more simpler substances, two or more simpler substances by any chemical methods. Like in the sense of, I can say by using heat energy, by using light energy, and by using electrical energy. Now, this is what about the first point. Any doubt in this? All of you ask me, Sai, Pradosh and all. Now, let us come to the
No,
second
sir.
point.
No,
Second
sir.
point. If I'll take iron sheet contains water. Is it only iron atoms or any other atoms is present? If I'll take iron sheet,
Iron, sir.
only iron atoms. Is it yes or no?
Yes,
Iron
sir.
Yes, sir.
atoms or particles are present. Or particles we can call it as. Correct or not? If I'll take copper, what is present? If I'll take copper,
Copper.
only copper
Copper.
atoms are present. Is it yes or no? Is there any other atoms present? Suppose if I take hydrogen gas,
Yes, sir.
what kind of atoms are present? Hydrogen molecules only present. Is it yes or no? Because it is
Yes, sir.
diatomic. Hydrogen molecules only present in this hydrogen gas. Like that, if you observe any element, what is the second property of elements? An element which is not possible to split up into two or more simpler substances. Why? What is the reason behind it? Because it is made up of only how many kind of atoms? Only
Only one kind of atom.
kind of atoms. That is why we can say an element is a substance which is made up of only one kind of atoms. This is what the another further simple definition of element. So any element, why it is not possible? They will ask you the question. Please all of you remember. Write the question. Why elements is not possible to splitting? ELEMENTS. Elements. Why elements are not possible to split into simple substances? Vaira, what is the reason? Alana?
Because it is made up of only one.
Because
molecule.
all the elements are made up of, understanding? Because elements
All
are
the
made
elements.
up of, elements are made up of only one kind of atoms, only one kind of atoms. So that is why we can say, because of this, we can say the definition of elements. Now, can you form the definition of elements again? Can you form the definition of elements? From this, I can say an element is a substance which is only made up of only one kind of
Only
atoms.
one.
You don't need to say big definition, Monesh. Every time you can change it. Understanding? Simple definition you can write it. An element is a substance which is made up of only one kind of atoms. An element, if you want, you can remember this also. An element is a substance. Is it a difficult definition, Sai? An element is a substance
No, sir.
which is made up of, Darun, respond me, only one kind of atoms. What is that? One kind of atoms. That's all. This is the
One
more
kind
further
of
simple definition. Tamil Selvan, are you there in meeting? Tamil Selvan is not there. Why these fellows are not joining? I don't know. That is what we should call it as. An element is a substance which is made up of only one kind of atoms. Is there any doubt? Anybody please ask me. Yes or no? Understand?
Sir.
Now,
Yes,
for
sir.
example, let us take, I will show you the picture. So suppose if you take two metals, one is copper and one is iron. Why I should call them as iron? How many of you have seen iron? Do you have iron nails and copper bottles and all, etc.?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Only the two contains, the two are called as elements. Why we should call them as elements? Can you able to say? Here you may observe here. I am showing you the two metals. One is copper metal and this is called as iron metal. So now, why this is called as element? Because it contains what? Only copper
Only
atoms. Contains.
copper atoms.
Iron nails contains what?
Only copper atoms.
Contains iron atoms.
Only iron atoms.
This is also called as, iron is also called as element and copper is also called as element because
Element.
copper contains only copper. Sorry, copper element contains only copper element. Have you noticed it? Copper everywhere. Copper.
Yes, sir.
Like same way iron also. Copper, sorry, iron. So that is why they have only one kind of atoms. That is why they are called as what? What is they are called
Element.
as?
Elements.
Element.
That is what? Example. Copper is an element. It is made up of only copper atoms. Copper is an element. It is made up of only copper atoms. Like that, so many you can take. Understand? So if you take around, we have 118 elements present. Actually, 118 elements are present. Out of that, around 92 elements occur in nature, while remaining and all, like around the 26 elements have been prepared artificially. So every substance in this world is made up of these kind of elements only. But most of our surrounding, it is not a simple substance. It is a made up of one or more these substances, one or more these elements. That is what we can say. One or more if we'll combine together, what we should call that as? What we should call that
Compounds.
as? Compound. That is what we will study further. Now, here you have to remember, understanding examples of this one. All of you write it. Copper is an element. It is made up of what? Example.
Copper.
Example, copper. So representation is Cu. So why copper is an element? Copper is an
Because it is made up of only
is an
copper.
element. It is made up of only
One kind.
copper atoms. That is. Please write it. Tamil Selvan, not there, correct? Darun, are you understand Darun? Manya, Samaya?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That is what. So please write it. So now, how many elements are there in our surroundings, in our nature?
Hundred.
Total elements in the periodic table till now, we have 118 elements. Please write it. There are 118 elements known at present. According to your textbook, 115 only, but 118 you can remember. How many elements are there totally? 118 elements.
118.
118 elements.
Present at today, and in this, around 92 elements. Understanding? 92 elements occur in nature. 92 elements. Actually, this.
Why, sir? There is no 3 elements in textbook.
Remember, this kind of 118 elements is not constant. Somewhere, some books will say 105, some books will say 108. Please, all of you remember that. Both 105 is there, correct only. 118 also correct. What, Sai, you are asking? What is your question?
Why, sir? Three elements are missing.
Missing means the textbook has been printed before, Sai. Do you understand? It is latest, updated one is 118. But if you go 2 years, 3 years before also, the elements count is 115 only. Understand, Sai? That is why. Nothing is there. Okay, Sai?
Okay, sir.
So, in that 118 or 115, only 92 elements are naturally occurring. What they are? naturally occurring elements, and remaining all artificial elements. Remaining elements are man-made elements. That is why they are called as what? Artificial. Understanding? Elements has been prepared artificially. That is why they will call them as artificial elements. Please write it. Remaining elements are called man-made elements. Man-made elements which prepared artificially. Do you understand? Any doubt? Anybody? Please ask.
No, sir.
Okay, clear? That is
1 minute, sir.
Sir.
most of the
Yes, sir.
substances in our world. Understanding? There is no kind of elements. Actually, elements are not present alone in this world. They are always, every substance in this world is made up of one or more these elements. That is what you have to observe very carefully. Do you understand, all of you? Every substance is made up of how many one or more. Understanding?
One or more.
Element.
Every substance is made up of every substance is made up of one or more these elements. One or more elements. Now, what is the common elements we observe in our surroundings? Can you able to say most common elements? The common elements which are observing in our surroundings. First one, hydrogen. Correct or not? Hydrogen.
Sir.
Oxygen.
The oxygen.
Hydrogen, carbon and sulfur, and majorly mercury also. Correct or not? Mercury. So these are the elements which we should observe in our surroundings. Suppose if we take the common elements we are founding in our surroundings, you can observe. I can say so many. You can say even 10, 20 also. For example, see, I will say helium, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, not carbon. Why can't carbon dioxide? Carbon dioxide is a what? Pradosh.
Compound,
Sir.
Compound, sir.
Carbon, oxygen, sulfur, understanding, phosphorus, chlorine, bromine, iodine, like that. So many things I can say. Even diamond and graphite are also elements only. Why? Can you able to say? They are made up
because
of
that is carbon.
atom. Only one kind of element. That is called as what? Diamond and graphite.
Carbon.
Carbons.
Do you understanding, all of you? That is why you can observe.
Yes, sir.
You take mercury, tin, silicon, zinc, everything, gold, silver, all are called as what? Elements.
Aluminium.
And if you take aluminum, everything is called as elements only. And if you consider diamond, understand, diamond and as well as
Gold, sir.
understanding, graphite and as well as coal, everything is all called as elements only. Diamond and graphite is also called as elements because
Gold.
they are what? They are the allotropes of carbon. Allotropes of carbon. What is the meaning of allotropes? Can anybody know? What is the meaning?
Conduct electricity. Conduct electricity.
No, that is not the meaning of conduct electricity. Conduct
Sir, I think
understand
types of carbon
call them as conductors,
particles.
allotropes. Understand? Suppose you can see what is the meaning of allotropes means. I will say the meaning. So now diamond. Diamond is a costly one or a cheap one? Diamond is a very costly. Correct or not?
Sir.
Costly, sir.
It is made up of what?
Different.
It is made up of carbon. Correct or not? If you take a coal, understand? If you take a coal is contains what? Carbon. Is it yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Pencil, for example, if you take a pencil needle, that is also made up of what? Carbon. But
Carbon.
different structure, coal is different structure, diamond is different structure. Have you noticed it?
Different structure,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
All things are made up of what? All things are made up of what? Same element.
Carbon.
Understanding?
Carbon.
So, composition is same, but
Carbon.
their structures are different. Understanding? So the chemical composition is same, but the physical appearance is different. That is called as allotropes. Understanding, all of you? The property is called as allotropy. What we should call? Allotropy.
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 Any substance If any substance is existed,
Have same
understanding,
element composition.
understanding, in different physical state, in different physical state, in different physical structure, different physical structure, but same chemical formula. Do you understand?
Same
all of
chemical
you?
composition.
Same chemical,
Yes, sir.
same chemical formula is called allotrope. Do you understanding all of you? So if you'll observe very carefully, for example, diamond. Diamond is the hardest natural non-metal. Is it yes or no? Hardest natural
Sir.
substance. But if you take graphite, if you take a coal also, one type of coal is bituminous coal and all. Very, very hard coal. But if you take graphite, easily we can break it. But see, everything is made up of carbon. But their physical properties are different, but the chemical properties same. Correct or not? That is called as allotropy. So the allotropes of carbon are allotropes of carbon. Allotropes of carbon. What are that? Diamond,
Coal.
graphite, coal, and one more thing will come. That is what you will study in the class 10th and all. That is only called as fullerenes. What we should call? Fullerenes. Understanding? Which will looks like a football structure. Football structure they are present. Buckminster and fullerene. Have you heard that word? C60 we can call. Buckminster and fullerene. We will study in the class 10th. No problem. Class 10th chemistry. Fullerenes we can call. What we should call, Ra?
Let's observe that allotrope.
Allotropes of
Sir,
carbon.
allotrophy, please show, sir.
Yeah.
Definition.
I will show you. Different physical properties and same chemical formula is called as
Sir,
allotrope.
up, sir. Up.
Understand, Ra? Understand the Elamukil?
Okay, sir.
Electricity.
Yes, sir.
If they are passing the electricity, they are called as good conductors. Understand, Elamukil?
Yes, sir.
But here you observe in this also, all are made up of what? Diamond, carbon, and coal. Everything is made up of what? Everything is made up of
Carbons.
only.
Carbons.
Do you know one thing? Diamond is a poor conductor of electricity. Graphite is a very good conductor of electricity. Do you understanding? And if
Yes,
we
sir.
take these fullerenes are called as semiconductors. Actually, means few times they will conduct electricity and few times they will act as insulators. Do you understanding? Both. That is why they are called as semiconductors. So that is what you see. Physical properties is different, but chemical formula is same. Correct or not? That is what we can say. They are the allotropes. Please write the definition of allotropes. Any doubt in this? Ask me anybody till here. Tell me.
No doubt, sir.
Okay. So that is what. So each element, the allotropes are
Allotrope, sir.
element. And you remember each and every element, I said hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, bromine, iodine, sodium, like everything. Is it everything is represented with the same symbol or different symbol? Same symbol or different symbol?
Different,
symbol.
sir.
Different, sir.
If you consider, understanding, every element is represented with a what? Different symbol. Do you understand? All of you?
Yes, sir.
For example, if we take oxygen, what is the symbol of oxygen? Symbol is
O2.
but represent
O2.
O2. But hydrogen, if we take, what is hydrogen? Hydrogen symbol is H, but represent H2. Do you understanding all of you? Next, carbon. Carbon, if we take C only. If we take sodium, what is the symbol? Na. Na is the sodium symbol. If we take potassium, what is the symbol? Potassium symbol.
K.
Like this, different elements is represented with a different kind of symbols. Understand, Sai? That is what we should call as element. So every element is having different kind of symbol, and this is not possible to separate into individual substances. That is what we should call them as elements. Now, is it these
Element.
elements are present in solids, liquids, or gases? Can you able to say anybody? Is it elements are present in solids, liquids, or gases? So if we consider these elements, in which state they are present? Either they are present in solids, they are present in liquids, or they are present in gases. Anybody?
Sir, in
Yes,
3
sir.
also
They
it
are
exists,
present in
sir.
3 of those.
States of matter. Some elements are
For
present
gas, hydrogen,
are present in liquid state, and some elements are present even in gaseous state. For example, if we take examples, if we take sodium metal, understanding sodium, sulfur, Understanding? Copper. You can take sulfur, copper, iron. These all are what? Solid. Understanding? Solid elements. If we
Yes,
take
sir.
liquid elements, can you able to say liquid elements? Anybody? Mercury.
Mercury.
Understanding? Mercury is the element which is present in the liquid state. Also, you can take bromine.